Okay, off of that fuckfest I had with Old Boy, I might as well fucking steer back into the main road of gaming here. I had this little bit of an idea here, thinking about it, because I'll confess right now, I'm a fan of the inFAMOUS series. I kind of hope there's a new game coming out in the future. God forbid the fucking a potential remaster. I would love to see a remaster on PS4 or PS5, but let's hope it's more in the vein of a remaster and just, spicing up the graphics as opposed to that Last of Us remake. If anything, though, if there's a game that deserves a remake, it is the original inFAMOUS. That came out on the PS3 in the early 2007s, and compared to fucking Last of Us is a modern art masterpiece because, it's the usual trend with game development. The older games, like the first games that come out on the hardware, they always look like shit. They're not that well fucking made, even though there are some good looking games on the PS5. I won't fucking lie. It's only been out for a year and a half. Or in our case, as those that didn't get a console, it's yet to release. But yeah, and then the later games in that cycle, they just look like fucking masterpieces because you're experts with the fucking engine and the console itself. Like, inFAMOUS deserves a fucking remake through and through. But I want to talk about something a little bit different with inFAMOUS, kind of just like a mini video here, kind of praising one particular thing about it. That's just the lightning bolt, man. I fucking cream every time I use the lightning bolt because I just remember like booting up inFAMOUS. Like, it was the first PlayStation 3 game I played. I think inFAMOUS was like one of the earliest games that kind of like formed my morality. So those saying that video games corrupt the youth and teach them nothing, I say fuck you, because I think inFAMOUS and to an extent Fallout taught me the benefits of right and wrong. Kinda, I still have some red on my ledger, so to speak, to quote Black Widow. But it taught me the sensibilities of right and wrong, and not to be a complete asshat, so to speak. But beyond that, it also introduced me to like one of the best infinite use range abilities. That's kind of like a video I have in the back of my head, ranking some simple infinite use items in gaming, but that's for something else entirely different. It's mainly weapons. But yeah, best part about inFAMOUS, bar none, was the plain old trusty lightning bolt. So yeah, I'm gonna fucking cream and talk about my favorite weapon, even though it's the boring but practical route. It's actually one of the best fucking weapons in the game. Obviously, for the main reason is that it has infinite energy. One of the sad things I did hate about inFAMOUS 2 and for that extent Second Son was that they removed that special ability of the lightning bolt. Now, yes, technically in inFAMOUS 2 there is a special ability you can unlock when you get to a certain karma level or an upgrade. I can't recall exactly. There's some sort of ability you can get where when you strike an enemy with your lightning bolt, you get a little bit of energy back. So in some aspects, you could technically have an infinite use lightning bolt, but I don't know how much you actually recovered. Like, I don't know if it was to the point where it was, you got back the exact same amount of energy, so in a way it was infinite, or it was such a small amount that it was more or less like a cost and reduction to the amount of power used when you did fire off a lightning bolt. But, yeah, the lightning bolt in inFAMOUS 2 was a lot more versatile, of course. It was a lot more customizable because there was a lot more variants. But no, fuck that. The OG lightning bolt was the original in inFAMOUS 1. And one of the huge draws, again, was they had infinite energy. And with that, like infinite energy, you can just do so much with it. Between the more playful shit, in games. No doubt, I know you fuckers did it. In some games where they give you an infinite ammo sidearm or a weapon in particular, I know you fuckers just fired it wildly into the air or fired it into the ground to make some fucking custom art. Or just simply fire it because you don't fucking care, man. You got yourself some infinite ammo? Fuck it, I want to fire off a few rounds in the sky. I want to hear the sound of my fucking roaring cannon, You just fire it just to fire it. Now, in the case of inFAMOUS, it wasn't like that. I just love the fact, you had a very powerful weapon to fall back on. If you didn't have enough energy for the shock grenades or the missiles or the precision bolt or anything in particular, the badass pre-order items, the fucking gigawatt blades. I fucking love those things. But yeah, infinite energy, gave you a bit of a cushion in terms of a weapon to fall back on, as I mentioned. Not to mention, it made you use it a lot more. And it was a really good weapon because it had a good punch to it. It had a very good firing rate as fast as you can tap the trigger. And in terms of range, it wasn't too bad. Again, it was boring but practical. It wasn't as flashy or as explosive packed as the grenades and the missiles, but it got the fucking job done. But beyond that, there was also a couple of extra features that the fucking, the lightning bolt has that some people may not know about. But I'll get into that in a minute. Obviously, the lightning bolt was upgraded depending on like what karma levels you have, and I'm a little bit fuzzy on it, sadly. But if I recall correctly, with the evil side, which I barely played that much of, I'm sorry, I'm a goody two shoes. I'm a fucking hero. What can I say? With the evil side, you got the upgrades if you performed head shocks. Love the nameology there. Fucking sucker punch. But if you have, if you perform the head shock, it would actually chain connect to other enemies, and it would explode them as well in glorious fashion. Obviously representing the evil side and how its main gimmick is that you don't care about the collateral damage, you just want ultimate unwanted destruction. Okay, cool. But in the case of the good side, it was a lot more self-contained. I think it did have the ability to chain to enemies, but it was just, more along the lines of to stun them so you can follow up with an extra shock to take them out. Not to mention it was a smart shock. It wouldn't wound other civilians, if I recall correctly. But one of the huge benefits that made the hero version, as opposed to the infamous version, that much more better, was that if I'm right, if you perform the head shock with the evil version, boom, there's an explosion, whatever, we don't care about that. But with the head shock of a lightning bolt, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Correct me if I'm wrong, it's been a bit since I played it. You recovered health when you performed a head shock, which, in my opinion, if I had to weigh between the two, self-preservation's a lot more than fucking, massive explosions. Not to mention, I think it had the also added gimmick. I don't know if it was shared between both of them or if it was exclusive for the hero side, but if I remember correctly, if you used the lightning bolt, you did recover energy whenever you shocked an enemy with it. So it was a good way to feed back into your ability set, because that means it would encourage you to keep using your primary lightning bolt, as I make the hand motion right now of fucking Colt just launching a barrage of fucking lightning bolts on his enemies. It would recover your main, artillery battery, your fucking power charge, so you can then later follow up with some missiles or shock grenades. It was a good feedback loop to make you actually use every tool in your fucking arsenal. But now here's the real cheese that some people may not know about. They may not know about this cheat, so let this be a little bit of a cheat video or a tip as well. What I found fascinating about the lightning bolt was that you could sap metal objects, obviously. And besides the fact there was that little cool effect where you shot a metallic object, you saw like the lightning surge through it for a couple seconds before disappearing. What people don't know about is, let's say you're walking along the street, you're low on energy, there's no like electricity areas in sight to refill your energy and to heal yourself. What you can do, I shit you not, is you can just sap a fucking random metallic object, or even a fucking dead body if I remember correctly. Zap it, and during that time where there's still some energy on it, you can drain that now energy-filled fucking item. And guess what? It refills your fucking energy. And it even refills your health. Talk about clean, renewable energy here. Like, I'd like to think that was an oversight by the developers. I don't even think you can do that in Infamous 2, sadly. I know you definitely can't do it in Second Son, since that's more about, smoking up people, literally. But yeah, it was actually kind of surprising that in Infamous 1 you can just sap a random metallic object and get a free recharge. Obviously, it can be a little bit hectic if you're being faced against multiple enemies shooting down on you and you're low on health. You obviously want to just find a pre-made energy source automatically. But the fact you can use that lightning bolt, besides attacking enemies with an infinite reserve of energy there, you can use that infinite reserve of energy to actually refill your main battery somehow. It's a weird fucking oversight, but that just adds so much more utility to the lightning bolt that makes it kind of shine above other typical infinite ammo use fallback items. It actually became like a primary weapon used throughout the whole game. And that's why I just kind of like the lightning bolt. Again, it has infinite use fucking energy. It can actually recover your energy in a more normal way by attacking enemies. It can recover your fucking health. It has a decent firing rate, respectable accuracy, and above all else, because of a fucking oversight, you can actually use it to recover your own energy and health in a pinch just by sapping a random metal item. It's fucking awesome. I want to play Infamous again so sadly. So badly. It's one of those rare games that I really do hope just gets a remake somehow. And I'm kind of sad it didn't get some sort of recognition. Like, as far as I'm concerned, again, Ghost of Tsushima is a Sucker Punch game. I know they aren't a bunch of Sony items, but as far as I'm concerned, there was no references to Infamous in there. It'd be nice if there was like some sort of Infamous themed like jumpsuit, like simplistic outfit you could have gotten in the director's cut DLC, or like some sort of add-on you can add to your katana where every time you strike an enemy it just saps them, so it may stuns them in place for half a second so you could follow up more easily with fucking attacks. Just something to honor the Infamous fucking game, because harking back to a other YouTuber I watched, G-Man Lives, love that fucking Aussie too. He is an Aussie, right? He did a perspective on the Infamous games that is really good. You should watch it. And just, again, reminds you, like, not remind you, but to me, Infamous was like kind of one of those games that did the superhero gaming fad right. Because obviously there was a bunch of superhero games for that time that were just adaptations made to cash on the success of a film, obviously. But there was few cases where a superhero game was done well, besides Marvel, Ultimate Alliance, a couple Spider-Man games, and the one case where a game adaptation did better than the movie itself. Origins Wolverine, I'm looking at you. But Infamous was like one of those standout games where it was like an actual original superhero universe that respected like the callings of like comic book lore, of like the comic book cutscenes of the game, the hero and villain dilemmas, and just like the overall art style. It just looked really fucking cool. Like, Infamous was one of those just cool superhero games. If you actually find a way to play it, go for it. You won't regret. Infamous is a great fucking series. I do have my umbrage with Second Son. It felt more collectathon heavy as opposed to like actual, story driven. But that's potentially another video as well in the future. But yeah. I just wanted to gush over that one simple moveset, that one plain ability in Infamous, where at first on paper you're just like, oh hey, just a range attack, sappy sappy. But because of its overall effectiveness and a couple of its hidden quirks as well, I feel it's like one of the best weapons, or abilities for that matter, in Infamous that deserves a lot more credit than it probably gets compared to its other badass brethren you get later on from going through like the underground power stations. But yeah, gushing over, never rambling done, fucking slapped into the books here. Again, usual chant, Like, dislike, comment, subscribe. Let me know, maybe if you like the fucking lightning bolt. Let me know if you like it. Let me know if you actually dislike it for some reasons. If you want, let me know what your favorite ability was in the inFAMOUS series, whether it be 1, 2, or fucking Second Son. I know I like the neon power one. I like the flashy lights. But, yeah. Manager's clocking out on that one. I don't know. Bye.